What up, what up, what up, what up, good people? What up, what up, what up? You want to listen to this one, boy, but you really want to take the time to listen to this one. And I ain't got a lot of time, so we about to get into it. Okay, it's 12:41. I got about a good 25 minutes. So listen, baby, we are in trouble. Women, we are in big trouble because men are the victims now. Men have been made themselves the self-appointed victims. And I don't think that a lot of women are incorporating this thought process when they are thinking about dating. You see, your wild card that you didn't see coming was the white man saying that he too is now the victim. God damn. God damn. What is we gonna do? What is we gonna do? I want y'all to understand that this is where the Trump voting came from. This is where the uptick, maybe it wasn't a surge, maybe it wasn't a blowout, but the uptick of black men partnering with white men came from the land of virtual and physical victimhood. How both of them came together because women have all the privilege and they get to wear their hair the way they want to, and they get to go to school and they get to walk dogs. I know you like, what? What are you talking about? You get to go to school. Listen, let me tell you something. Just stick with me for a few seconds. This don't make sense. So we get to have bodily autonomy is what I'm talking about. We get to decide what the hell we want to do with our lives. We may not necessarily want to rush to get married. Okay. We may not necessarily want to rush to have children. They're always trying to force kids on you when you still a kid your damn self. But even in the Republican Party, who really be preaching this quote unquote family values, they so hypocritical and full of shit. I ain't even got a whole live stream to even bust them out. But what happened was, in the land of incel, video game, porn addicted world, men got together and they decided to put their forces of power together to determine why they were so upset and so dissatisfied with their, depraved little lives. And white men determined that it is reverse racism on them. Everybody's always on their helmet. Everybody always getting on them about being white supremacists and what is wrong with being a white supremacist. What is wrong with wanting other people to die so that they can succeed? What is wrong with wanting the world to bend to their will? What's wrong with that? Like, what is wrong with that? We just need y'all to bend to our will. We need a lot of y'all to die too, but bend to our will and serve us and make us happy and make us feel proud. Back in the day, with the good times when the parents and the mothers and the fathers, he wouldn't even look directly at a white man. I mean, like, what about those days? You know what I'm saying? Like, they are fiending for those days, and it shows up in every political way with all of this silliness about America being a white country. Then they want traditional trad wives and all of this, but they're unable to fulfill the expectations of patriarchy with being able to have one income or a good enough income. But their feeble little minds cannot realize that it is wealthy elite people that is stealing food out of their mouth. No, it's not the wealthy elite people. It's not Elon Musk, who's almost a fucking trillionaire. It's not BlackRock. It's not any of these large conglomerate corporations. No, it is the immigrants, the poor, impoverished immigrants that's stealing from you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because they're the ones who's getting all the housing grants and all of this extra type foolishness. And the black man sat there and he consumed that same level of foolishness, except with his own spin on it, because he has been self-loathing as a collective. Not every individual black man, but enough to make this a good point. He has been in a state of self-loathing for generations. And so now the little bit that he got that he don't want, somebody's stealing from him. Do he want an immigrant job? No, the fuck he do not. Okay. He damn near want to walk into the job and be the boss on the first day. Okay. Because he just so swaggy and so deep and so mesmerizing that they're going to promote him to CEO of the company the first day. So he damn near got that type of mentality and expectations. But they somehow found a shared grievance, which is women won't do what we say. Women won't bow down to us. Women don't want to be trad wives. Women want to actually, get this, be human. Oh no, women want to be human. They want to have bodily autonomy. What the fuck is that? They want to be able to have careers and things that they want to do things that men's supposed to do. You're not supposed to be in politics. You're supposed to be in the kitchen fixing me a sandwich. That's what you're good at. But see, what I'm good at is this. But lo and behold, do they know that outside of their Abrahamic religion hysteria, that the true nature of the divine feminine is all encompassing. And we have the ability to tap into our masculine and our feminine, provided in our feminine, we produce the most magic. But if you have a balance, mayat, if you have a balance within yourself, there is a lot that you can accomplish. However, Abrahamic religion has established hierarchy and gender roles down to the T, because I believe that men don't know who they are unless somebody give them a rule book and tell them this is who you are. I mean, but that's another story for another time. What I want to focus on is this shared grievance, these shared self-loathing, the shared shame, the shared tortured souls that they are. The fact of the matter is that that makes them extremely dangerous. Now, I'm not saying that they are extremely dangerous because alone they are extremely dangerous. I'm not really even talking about that. I'm talking about this feeling that someone has taken and stripped from them something that they are owed in life. See, the patriarchy has told them that they are owed a woman, a house, a car. Not that they earn it, that they're owed it. Notice I'm very intentional about my words. They act as if though everybody else ain't out here dealing with the same shit they're dealing with and just pushing through it. They believe that they are a victim and have been abandoned. They believe that people blame them for everything. Even the shit that they do, they getting blamed for, and that's not fair either. This is the world that we live in, people. And I need women to wake up, because men like this are dangerous. They already are in a state, no matter if it's real or imagined, that the world is stealing from them. Immigrants are stealing from them. Women are stealing. See, women are supposed to want to give up their body, want to give up their womb, want to give up their youth and invest. You're not supposed to care about what this investment might potentially do to you, if it's going to harm you or not. First of all, you better be a savvy bitch by the time you're 18, because that's when you are at your prime, right? You're supposed to pick the right man out the gate. You're supposed to know it all by the time you're 18, or even your father's supposed to marry you off or something. So you're supposed to hit a home run, baby, out the gate. Get the best man, put yourself in the best position, make sure that he is mentally and emotionally stable. You're supposed to know all these things at 18 when you are ripe for the picking. But really what they mean is shut up about your concerns about men's lack of emotional intelligence. Shut up about it. We don't care. You need to learn how to work with the man that you're with. If he got a temper, you need to learn how to work around that, because they have this weird, odd, made up reality where they think in the 1940s and 50s, women just did that. They didn't care about the flaws of the man, whether there was some level of lack of sexual discipline, emotional discipline. He'd walk around like a tyrannical fool, terrorizing everybody in the house, whooping up on the woman, whooping up on the kids, demanding that certain things be done a certain way. And she had to learn to live within the parameters of the way that man operated. And she did. Maybe if she complained with her homegirls or her housewives or other housewives, fine. But there was never any real conversation about it. Nobody was professing that man go to therapy. Nobody was telling that man that he needs to be a better human being. Nobody was asking of that man for him to have emotional competency. He remained the type of individual that he was, and the women just dealt with it. Okay? Domestic violence, what? Domestic violence who? I ain't heard of that. It didn't exist. So it's really the reason why they push it back on you, even though it's an absurd thing to think that you could know somebody in and out in any shape, form, or fashion, even if you've known them for 10 years. But they push it back on you because really what they're saying is silence. Shut up about it. We don't care. Deal with it. Learn how to work with it. So then when women start saying, okay, we get it, and now we're opting out of it, how dare you? How dare you, women? Do you understand that we need to populate the earth? Do you understand we need to procreate? Yeah, I can't make it off of this one salary, but who cares? Our parents struggled and they was okay. Yeah, they struggled when the cost of living was super low. When they had Roosevelt, wasn't it Roosevelt or I forget who it was, but they had it had to be Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let me see who came up with the New Deal. Hold on, who did the New Deal? Ain't gonna take but a second. All right, the New Deal. All right. The New Deal, oh, yep, I was right. The New Deal was a series of government programs, regulations, and projects enacted by Franklin D. Roosevelt between 1933 and 1938 in response to the Great Depression. Its main goals were to provide immediate economic relief, help the economy recover, and implement reforms to prevent future economic crisis. And then we went on like that with the New Deal, which really actually helped a lot of white families achieve the middle class. This is how that happened. Then you had, civil rights movements, and people could walk into a factory a couple of blocks away from their home in their neighborhood and get work there. The hours might have been long, the pay may have not been the greatest, but this is how a middle class was created. And now they're trying to eradicate that middle class. And people like to pretend as if though this is specific to men because men were told under the system of patriarchy that there was always going to be opportunities for them. Now that the patriarchy has failed them and these greedy ass millionaires want to bankrupt everybody and create policies that only benefit them and AI, mind you, now these men are turning around and they are victimizing themselves with all the misplaced anger because they ain't going to go up against the system, a lot of them, but they'll go upside your head. And when I say go upside your head, every one of them ain't physically aggressive, but a lot of them seek power. A lot of them seek power. A lot of them seek control. Can they articulate psychologically why they move the way that they do? Why they try to pretty much bully those who they deem more vulnerable than them? No, they can't articulate that. But they are some tormented souls. I will tell you that. And when you put yourself in that position, you are really in a dangerous spot because this needs to be considered when you out there dating in the dating market. You start hearing men who spit rhetoric like they listen to podcasts, red pill podcasts all day long. Get your purse, get your shit, and get out. And get out. Leave. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Don't talk about it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to see it from his perspective. Get the hell out of there. Because that man's mind is twisted. He now believes that he's the victim and is so cemented in his spirit that anytime you even call him to account, you run the risk of a crash out happening to you. Anytime you disagree with him, you run the risk of a crash out happening to you. Anytime you say, hey, listen, I don't think this is going to work out. Or he's already preemptively in the relationship doing things that are manipulative and deceitful to tether you to him so that you can't go no place else. Because honestly, the acquisition of women is the acquisition of property in the minds of men who have drank the patriarchal Kool-Aid. The acquisition of women is the acquisition of property in the minds of the patriarchal man. And I had to let y'all know that there's a growing surging amount of white men that are in on it. Now, they going all the way left field with the shit because some of them are turning into trans women just because they feel like it's no benefit to being a man. Look it up. It's called groper culture. It's called transmaxing. It's something that's very, very strange. Look it up for yourself. Okay, they're going all the way left, but they're angry. They're livid. They're frustrated. And because they cannot fight punch up, you best fucking believe they're going to punch down. And the thickness of the self-loathing in the black man is so strong. I just really don't know how black women even think that they can convince them otherwise. You could give them all the love in the world, but if that feeling inside them always tells them that they're the victim, they could do any fucking harmful thing to you, and somehow they're still going to be the victim. Somehow they're still going to see everything as your fault. Somehow they're still going to feel like you ain't loving them enough, no matter how much you love them, because there's a hole inside that you can't feel. And so when women are taking on these project men, as I like to call them, I'm really concerned about them because you're not understanding that it's not about the amount of love or the amount of prayer. It's the fact that these people feel so goddamn sorry for themselves. And honestly, as I've always stated, two things can be true at once. Is it true that the patriarchy lied to them? Hell fucking yeah. And part of that lie included women. Part of that lie included women. And the patriarchy makes women exclusively the vindicator and the validator of their masculinity. So if they don't have a woman to control, a family to manage, they not a real man. You see? And y'all got to understand that a lot of times these things are things that validate them. Okay? Women aren't as convinced that this thing makes me a woman or this thing don't make me a woman. Some women are. That's why some women are in very unhappy relationships and marriages, because they don't feel whole and complete as a woman without a man. Now, is it okay to have to want and desire a man? Yeah. But if you betraying yourself and putting yourself through hell just to keep one, then you got a deeper problem than just fucking, you just love him so much. The problem is you don't love yourself enough. That's the problem. But that's another thing that they often benefit from when you don't love yourself. But we talked about that at length as well. So when you're dealing with these men who are saying that the world and the system owe them and they're not getting what their just due is, and somebody is taking from them and stealing from them and trying to harm them, you are dealing with a soul that eventually crashes clean the fuck out. Innocent bystanders, people who don't deserve to be treated that way. They're offended by some of the most minute things because their masculinity is so fragile. Why do you think they are reacting with such violence and vitriol? They may not be as focused on the woman as they were 2 years ago. But the violence, the acts of manipulation is still there. And it's still very, very prominent. So I'm saying to women, look, I don't know all the answers. I don't have all the answers. All I can tell you is I see this shit for what it is. And I see these men out here and they are crashing out. They are crumbling. And it all stems from this feeling that they are being locked out of something. What I find interesting is when you give them self-improvement or you provide information, because, okay, first of all, most of the time they don't want to hear from no woman no damn way when it comes to self-improvement. They will know they need to improve something and lie to your damn face and say, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just woman talk, because they don't want to lose power, or the delusion of said power. But I find it funny that when you give them suggestions and you try to help them to better themselves, they still find resentment towards you. So it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. What has to happen is that feeling of, I'm going to just call it what it is, bitch assness, they have to be destroyed by it. Because unfortunately, as many women want to believe in men and maybe one day, lady, save your fucking hope. Okay, put that into something else. Put that into your kids. Put that into Bitcoin, bitch. Don't put that shit into none of these damn fools. Save your hope, lady. What I would recommend to you is I would recommend that you let him go through the bumps and bruises necessary so that he can have a change of mind. Because your words and even your feminine ways and your understanding and your nurturing is going to get exploited because they're not in the right mindset. They're not in the right mindset to receive you and to have a synergistic relationship, because what they feel they are locked out of is power. So your sweetness, your kindness, all of that is just a teardrop in the bucket of the feelings of inadequacy that they have. So your cooperation just literally becomes your condemnation, because there's not enough love that you can give them that's going to make them feel manly enough and good enough about themselves, because they already feel like they're fucking failures. And they already feel like they're being robbed from something in their life, mostly self-inflicted wounds, but you can't tell them no different. So I am telling you, women, choose yourself, because we are going through different times in this timeline. This ain't no straightforward shit where you just meet a nice guy and y'all go and get married and then y'all love each other for the rest of y'all life. And this ain't that time. Motherfuckers are psychologically cooked. Psychologically cooked. How the fuck is you sitting in 2025 lusting after some 1950 shit when you weren't even born? That let you know how fucking throwed off they are. You got to let it go. It's deeper than just meeting somebody, you being a nice person, them being a nice person. No, these motherfuckers are dissatisfied within themselves deeply. There's a darkness inside of them. And they can become very rageful. They can become very vengeful. And even after all the attacks, they still gonna coin themselves as a victim. You know why? Because they feel sorry for themselves mostly every other fucking day. So when they do muster up the strength to be a bastard, they feel like that's well within the means. They will terrorize fucking people because of the psychological fragility that they are in. Men ain't doing too well nowadays. I don't know if you notice. And I'm not talking about just financially. I'm talking about mentally. So this is where I'm telling y'all, you got to even be more protected, because it's not just about meeting somebody. They make it like that. And of course, they ain't going to tell you how down bad they are. So don't worry about it. I'm telling you, listen to the words that they say. Niggas talk about the system keeping them down. White men talk about reverse racism. You hear any of those keywords, get the fuck on, because you got a self-loather on your hand. And self-loathing men are dangerous. Self-loathing men lash out. Self-loathing men get violent. And guess what? They'll turn around and say, I'm the victim. Get the fuck away from them.